Hi, everyone. Welcome to Previews and Reviews. Today, we've got a very special guest with us from Creature Movie Reviews. I'll put a link to his channel at the end of the video and in the description. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Just Brad Smith. I run Creature Movie Reviews. Have a lot of fun over there.
Cool. So he does some awesome videos, digs up a ton of movies I've never heard of. So I definitely recommend you go check all that stuff out there, especially if you like Bigfoot. And we might have Eric McKinney pop on here and say hello to you guys. He's gonna do King Kong 2005 with us. He's gonna do all the MonsterVerse movies with us. So, but I know you all miss him on the show. I miss doing it with him, and he's very excited to start doing that with us. But so, Brad, you watched King Kong versus Godzilla. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, so I rewatched it today, and I seen it a while ago. Just not for any reason and stuff. And so I rewatched it today. It's fresh in my head, and it was a good movie. I mean, it's Toho, so going in, it's going to be a Japanese movie, and it's more of a comedy. I kind of knew that going in. So yeah, if you know what you're getting into, I think it's a fun movie. It was a good time.
I definitely think so. Because I remember the first time I watched it, the first time I tried to watch it, and I actually got bored.
That's understandable.
So then I came back to it and watched it, and actually found myself really enjoying it. There were things about it that I, of course, was cringe, but there was things about it that just had this kind of endearment to it almost. Something that, I don't know, it's just something special about those Toho movies, that they just have this particular charm. And I mean, like seeing like the trains and the tanks, all of them being like, model, remote control models and stuff, and just taking us back to a time when movies were made that way. It honestly makes me, because I'm a filmmaker, it honestly makes me want to try my hand at making a Toho-esque monster movie and seeing what's the best I could do. And
yeah, for sure, you should. I'd watch that. Yeah.
Thanks. I definitely want to at some point. I just don't have a story in mind yet. A story for me has always got to come first. So then I rewatched it today again. So this was my third time watching it, second full watch through, and I loved it even more this time.
Good.
It especially. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about this movie in particular, but something I really liked was the scene with the giant octopus, and it's very much so a real octopus.
Oh yeah.
In most shots, there's a few shots where it's wrapped in like cellophane plastic to make it look like it's slimy or whatever, but a model of it that the dude in the gorilla suit's fighting with. But that was just something I hadn't expected. I'm like, oh sweet, we get 3 giant monsters for this movie. And I honestly kind of questioned if that was inspiration for the Meyer squid in the Kong Skull Island.
Definitely. Yeah, I caught on to that too.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool reference in Skull Island. Speaking of Skull Island, though, they don't call it Skull Island in this movie.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I can't remember what was they called it. I was having a hard time pronouncing it earlier. So maybe I'll put a word pop up to say what it is. But I found that interesting that they wouldn't use the brandage of Skull Island. And this was made in conjunction with Universal Studios. This was made with Universal International. I mean, when I put the DVD in for the first time, I hear the dun 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 dun. I'm like, what? And it just, I don't know. I had fun with this one. What about you?
Yeah, no, it's fun, and you do have to. I should have said this first. You do have to put yourself in the mind of a 1962 moviegoer and a lover of Japanese monster movies. And you go in knowing it's a dub. You go in knowing that
Yeah.
it's guys in suits and miniatures and stuff, and it's not what I would expect out of a movie from 2021.
Yeah.
But if I think about from a movie from the 60s, I was even impressed with some of
Hmm.
the where you saw the giant octopus, and the villagers in front of it. Sometimes, yeah, okay, it's a blue screen, I know, but it was still like, how'd they get that octopus to do that? Or how do they do that and stuff? So I thought that the effects for the time, and I mean, after every sentence, I could say for the time, it was
Yeah.
very good. So yeah, would I show this to everybody and be like, hey, watch this movie, it's the best movie I've ever seen in my life? No, it's definitely not. But if you're a fan of Godzilla or Kong, if you're a fan of um, any kind of monster movie, I think it's right up your alley.
Yeah. And like you said, for the time is the key word there. This is definitely nowadays for a very niche audience. But
Yes.
there's some of the effects I'm like, I mean, even though it was made in the 60s, I'm like, now how did they do that?
Uh-huh.
Like, there's some effects I know exactly how they did it. And then there's other effects I'm like, well, now how they do that? Like, and some of it's the tiny stuff. Like when Godzilla's walking over the telephone lines and you see him spark.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how did they get that? Because that actually looks really good.
And you can tell like the spark isn't like a sometimes when you see fire on fire like on a miniature you can tell like, oh, the flame's like this tall, but the spark
Yeah,
looked like they were on like electrical poles. They looked like
it
it
looked
looked
real.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
even though it's a very obvious giant rubber suit, that's what it looks like. It looks like a giant Godzilla-sized rubber suit with real telephone lines going down.
sure.
And that actually really impressed me. Like just that tiny little detail really impressed me.
The
Um,
electricity is important in this movie. It plays a big part in the story as far
yeah.
as Kong. It's how he powers up and stuff, so it gives him the edge. There's so, which I mean, can make a little bit of sense or not really, but I did like. I mean, you got to give him something because I think they met maybe one or two times before the grand finale,
Hmm.
and I mean, Godzilla just won every
Destroys him.
time. Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah.
a contest, but a lot of times in those effects, you would see Godzilla shot his atomic breath and Kong caught on fire. That actor was on fire, for,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a fire extinguisher there or something, but I did read that he was actually like sewn into the suit. So he was on fire and couldn't get out of the suit. That's pretty scary. So gotta give him credit there.
Yeah. That was a detail I noticed. I thought it was really cool was that suit is smoking. And I don't know, it just the one thing I hate about the King Kong suit though is like there will be times where he roars and his mouth is just
Closed.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that's
And
the
that could be the dub. I don't know.
it could be. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean there's things about this movie that I just find nice. Like I can appreciate as a filmmaker and as someone who loves the history of movies. And this was like a big time crossover when it was made.
Oh, yeah.
Um, so what do you think of the ending of it though?
I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking about it. I mean, the ending sucked. There's no way around it. It was basically like, oh, hey, we hit an hour and a half. Let's end the movie right now. In the end, Kong and Zilla are fighting, and or Kong and Godzilla are fighting, and they fall into the water, and then it's like Godzilla just was gone, and Kong just swam away. It's like, okay, Godzilla lives in the water. Like, what are you doing? Like, this is his time to shine. And I remember thinking that, like, okay, they ran out of budget or they ran out of time and said, it's good. We're done.
Yeah, that because that's what I was thinking. Because they actually mentioned earlier in the film how Godzilla has disappeared, and they talk about, well, he's probably under the water. Like, so I'm like, that was either intentional foreshadowing for the fact that that's how he gets away and he lives or whatever, or it was just really dumb on the writer's part who was trying to make it out like King Kong won because like, have you seen those like CGI animated videos on YouTube where like they'll pit like different kaijus from different movies
Hmm.
against each other?
Yeah.
I want to see somebody do that, but do King Kong versus Godzilla 2 and it be entirely in the water.
Ah,
I would so watch that.
I would. Hey, maybe we'll see that in the new movie. That it's just we get in there and it's all just underwater.
I not gonna lie, I kind of really want to see King Kong push Godzilla over a ledge. And like both of them fall over. And it's like it's like close to the end of the movie, or like it's a 2/3 of the way to the movie. And like you don't see nothing, but you just see a trail of bubbles going out to sea.
Oh,
And
geez. Yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
see Kong pop up, and you think, oh no, this is what they're referencing. And then Godzilla comes up and starts fighting them again. Like
Okay.
that satisfaction of like seeing them reference it, but then seeing what should have happened in the original.
They have to reference it. I mean, the movie's almost the same title. I mean, it's like they should reference it, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. Kong pushes him off a ledge, and you don't see Godzilla ever again. It's wrapped up very nicely for the humans. Like Godzilla's gone, and Kong floats away. Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
All in all, I mean, for the '60s and for the King Kong and Godzilla fans, I think it would have made him happy, just to see
Oh
the island again, see the Islanders. There was a funny part in it that stuck out to me was the guys get there to the island and they're trying to bribe the Islanders so they don't kill them, and
I
they
know what
give
you're
them a bunch of
going
stuff,
for.
and they give a kid cigarettes. You just would never see that again. They can't do that, but he just says like, "Oh, we didn't bring any candy. Oh, here's a cigarette. Don't smoke in the house." But it was
I
funny.
Yeah, I saw that and I was honestly shocked a little bit. And I remember, oh wait, this is the 60s.
Kids
And
smoke cigarettes. That's
yeah,
what happened.
like especially in today's culture, this film, I am so surprised people aren't all like cancel Godzilla versus Kong because King Kong versus Godzilla was racist. Because like there's some stuff that's honestly a little bit racist with the Islanders. And like I say a little bit because they're taking creative liberties. Like these are made up islanders for a made up nationality for a made up island. But with that being said, I mean, I could see like some modern people watching this and getting offended. And I'm like, really? It was made in the 60s.
It was a different time for
It was a
sure.
different
I
time.
mean, people did things differently then, and I mean, for better or for worse. But yeah,
Yeah.
don't say that because I want to see the new movie coming out, and I don't want them to have to, cancel it the day it comes out.
Oh, I know. I would be so mad. I would be so mad.
I don't think it's gonna come to that.
No, I don't think it will because like Kong Skull Island did a really good job with its islanders. It took an entirely opposite approach to Peter Jackson's film,
It
where
did.
they're creepy and instead like they're quiet. They are in many ways, honestly, their culture seems to be beautiful. And
They're
just
helpful.
and they're helpful. They're
Yeah.
peaceful.
I think they say in that movie that they live longer and they figured out life. So
Hmm. Yeah. So popcorn buckets. What would you have given us?
um
Or what would you give it, I should say.
yeah, it's entertaining. It goes by quickly.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half, and it kept my attention throughout. But I'd still say I'm gonna go a 3.5. I want to just I'm a big fan of these movies, so there's the
Let's go with
extra
that.
half point. I mean, it's not quite a 4, but it's a 3.5. Yeah.
I'm gonna go a little bit lower than you for this one. I'm gonna go with a 2.5 because just like with modern day movies and stuff, this one I can see how like on one hand like yeah, it like keeps my attention and your attention, but I could easily see how it would lose the average moviegoer.
Absolutely.
And you know, I mean, like people are like, we came to the movie to see the fight, and then you got all this dialogue and these characters and like this, person that, oh, and now the girlfriend's here, and I mean, I could see how it could lose people, so I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
And I agree with you. They did do some things that's like, okay, just like they explained how they made the steel cables that held Kong when they transported him. Like, is that
Yeah.
really that important? Like, just get to the good stuff here. But and I definitely say a 3.5 for me. If it was somebody else, like I don't recommend this movie to somebody, unless they're like really into it. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, don't watch it. Watch Skull Island. Watch something else.
There I am.
Eric,
There he is.
man,
Hey.
it's good to
So,
see you back
are you
on
guys
this
excited
channel.
for Godzilla versus Charles Barkley? That's what comes out this Friday, right? Godzilla versus. I even have the poster up right here.
Yeah.
This is the movie, right? This is
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
I think personally, Charles Barkley's got it. I think he has a height advantage, and
And he's got a
you kinda
basketball.
see
Yeah.
Godzilla's struggling in the poster already with how powerful Charles Barkley is. So
it's also,
Oh wait, I think you might be mistaken there. I'm not. That's not the movie I saw the trailer for.
yeah, no, that looks, honestly, I could see this happening in Space Jam though.
Yeah.
In the new one. But no, man, it's a Godzilla versus Kong. Are you hyped?
am I frozen? Am I still?
No, you're good.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that movie's gonna be. You said it's gonna happen in Space Jam. You said.
The Godzilla versus Charles Barkley. I mean, it could
Fingers
a new
crossed.
Space Jam.
Yeah, that's gonna be the. It's gonna be a trilogy, Space Jam trilogy. So it's the ending.
Nice.
But how you guys been?
Been good. We were just
Been
going
well.
over the film reels for King Kong versus Godzilla, which I need to let you borrow so that you can have seen it before Godzilla versus Kong.
Perfect. All righty. What film reels have you guys? Is that what you guys were discussing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
that's where we're at right now. And as far as we kind of discussed how the effects for 1962 were pretty good.
Yeah.
But that being said, I think even back then there are parts where people are running and you can see it's a blue screen. They are a blue tint, and you can see different effects. And of course, they're guys in suits, and Godzilla and Kong both look a bit goofy. So as far as film reels goes and stuff, and it is, it's pretty. It's a nice looking film. You can see everything that's going on. But I'm gonna go 2.5 on that one.
I got you.
I am going to agree with you 100%. That's what I give it. Because there's certain things about like it's a B movie monster movie from the 60s. Like, it's not gonna be the most artistic thing in the world. However, there is some art that goes into that. I mean, they have to create those costumes. They have to, decide how on earth, like, what is the driving thing that brings this character to this character. And like at the beginning of the film, they make this big deal about berries and about these berries from Kong's Island, and you see it used later in a few areas, but like didn't turn out to be like a big MacGuffin like I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, I gotta give it 2.5. And then maturity rating, I would let my kids watch this. I mean, I don't remember hearing any curse words. The only hesitation I have is the fact that the two guys, when they get to the island and they're trying to bribe the islanders, they give a kid a cigarette because they didn't bring any candy. that would be my only reservation. But
in the original, it's because they gave him chocolate. In the original King Kong, when they went to the island, it's just a little gave him the complete.
He did. Yeah. I think kids of any age can watch this movie. To be honest, it's a joke. They know it, and yeah, I wouldn't mind anybody watching it. It might have been made more for kids more. It's more of a comedy. The guys are. It is interestingly the first time Kong or Zilla were in color. So you were talking about like the art and how they created the
Mhm.
costumes and stuff. Everybody assumed Godzilla was green, but now we actually saw he's more of a gray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's pretty
I
cool.
I actually have this with me. On the cover of this, they sell him as being green. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
but,
definitely.
like,
Even Marvel comic books sold him as green before they figured out the color he was going to be.
yeah, and
Actually, I have a pretty neat story. I have a neat story about how Godzilla versus Kong was made. This was you guys' review, but I just
No, go ahead, hijack. Yeah, I want to
go
hear it.
ahead, man.
So the making of Godzilla versus Kong, the original, was actually a complete accident. Basically, it was supposed to be a King Kong versus a totally different monster. I can't remember the name of the monster movie. It was going to be U.S. made, but at the last minute, it got scrapped. And there was somebody in the room, not famous at all, who took the script and flew over to Japan real quick. And they started making it a Godzilla versus Kong movie. It was originally supposed to be a totally different monster. It was supposed to be a U.S. made film. And they started making it. And the U.S. eventually got word, and they were like, "Hey, that's our script." But by that time, filming had already wrapped, and it had already come out in Japan, and Godzilla had become a super big pop culture thing. So they just kept it. They just kept it under the rug. But originally, it was just somebody just stealing a script for a King Kong sequel, and then just
You froze up there.
I think that monster was originally supposed to be Frankenstein, is from what I've read, is that that humans created a Frankenstein-like monster, and that's who Godzilla fought. And that makes the electricity thing, where Kong's a little bit more powerful with electricity, make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Brad. Good stuff.
It didn't work in the end result, but yeah, I mean, that's funny that somebody just stole the script and said, just erase Frankenstein and put in Kong. It'll work. It'll work.
That's
Right.
honestly hilarious. And I mean, I think Toho was the right people to take that to. And of course, Universal Studios, because Universal Studios International, helped with this. And I honestly think that was a really good move on their part. And obviously, like, the US made some amount of money on this. But I mean, pitting the two most famous cinema monsters head to head, I think it was brilliant.
Well, it was such a good idea, they did it twice.
Right.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Right.
Yeah. Well, Eric, man, it's awesome to have you back on the show. We look forward to doing all of the other movies with you for this countdown to Godzilla versus Kong. And for those who aren't already subscribed, please do. We're going to be reviewing, King Kong 2005, all the MonsterVerse movies, and we're going to be reviewing Godzilla versus Kong the same day it comes out. We're going to try and do it as early as possible. And so be sure you're subscribed, and be sure to go and check out Creature Movie Reviews. I'll put a link at the end of the video and down in the description. He's got some awesome reviews of like movies I've never heard of. And like, he does like, B movies, ant movies, Bigfoot movies.
Yeah, I pretty much watch it so you don't have to.
And definitely go check it out, because sometimes he digs up some gold. Like, honestly, that phase 4 video, I'll leave a link to that at the end as well. That phase 4 video about the ants, that honestly has got me where I kind of want to see it.
Wasn't bad.
So, but yeah, go check out his channel, and thank you for watching. This has been Previews and Reviews. I'm Hayden.
I'm Brad.
And Eric's frozen. We'll see you guys next time. God bless.